different ways to really simplify these. I'll show you the easy. I think which one is the easiest one first. Now, does everybody know how to do a factor tree? Really, just factor what times what gives me this and that and all that good stuff. All right. So let's do that first. So what times what is going to give me 52? Someone give me something.
What gives you what?
52. Anything.
1.
Well, 1 can always go into anything. So there's no need to write down 1.
2 can go into it.
How many times? What'd you get?
26.
26?
Yeah.
Yep. 2 times 26. So write that down. Okay, we can't factor 2 out anymore.
26.
What about 26? What times what gives me 26?
4. 13. No, it ain't gonna be 4.
13 times what?
2.
13 times 2. That's an ugly 13, but that's a 13.
Nothing can go into 13.
Now, can anything go into 13, 2, or 2? Okay, so we're done. We're done factoring this thing. We've gone as far as we can. Now, this is the part that's I think the easy part, is if this is a square root, this right here tells you how many you're looking for. What I mean by that is sometimes you'll see a 3, and you'll be finding the third root of something. Okay? In that case, you're going to be finding like triplets or 3 of a kind. In this case, if this is a 2 and you're finding the square root of something, you're looking for pairs. What numbers are pairs? Yeah, the 2 and the 2. The 2 and the 2, right there, we got a pair of 2s, okay? So if you have a pair of something, in this case we have a pair of 2s, one of the 2s comes out. So you would just write down one of the 2s. We got a pair of 2s, that comes out. Now, what number do I have left?
52. 50 or 13 to 26.
Now, is 26, now don't get confused on this part. Greg, this is a great point. I'm glad you brought this up. Okay, the only numbers that you take into consideration are the numbers, I think of them as the end of the roots. Like this 26 has branched off into 13 and 2. So this 26 is really gone out of this factor tree. The only numbers you should be looking at is 2, 13, and 2, because they are the end of the roots. Okay? It's not branched off to anything else. Great point. All right? So the only number that we have left is 13, right? Well, that stays inside the radical, and you're done. First thing that you should do is write down what root you're finding. Remember, if there's no number there, you're finding the square root. So I'm going to write down my little 2, square root of 45. Okay? Now, what times what gives me 45?
5 times 8.
9, yep. 9 times 5 gives me 45. Okay, can we factor 5 out? No, that's just going to stay there. What about 9? 3 times 3.
And that's it.
Yep, we're done after that. We factored it completely out. Okay? So you need to look. We're finding the square root. So we're finding pairs of something. Well, I got a 3, and a 5. These are my end of my roots. Okay, and the end of my factor tree is right here. So I got a 3 and a 3. I just write down 1. All I have left is a 5. So that stays inside. To actually fully simplify this, we need to multiply this first. So when you multiply, what do you get? 48.
48,
Yeah. Now, so now you try to figure out what root you're finding. We're finding the square root.
6 times 8.
Okay? So we're finding the square root, so write that little 2 up there. Okay? Now, 6 times 8. So let's factor true this thing out. You got 6 times 8? Yep. Now what?
Go to the 4 on 8. 4 times 2.
Mm-hmm.
And go 3 times 2. 12.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're done.
Are we?
You got to multiply the others together.
4.
Oh,
Okay? Shh.
so 2's your answer for it.
Now.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, there's a bunch of, or there's a couple of pairs.
You only put one number, so it's 2.
Now,
4. It's going to be like a
make sure you recognize what numbers are at the end of your roots. Okay, because we have a bunch of numbers here. So we got a 3, a 2, a 2, a 2, and another 2. Wonderful. Now, we're finding pairs, sets of 2. So go through. I got a 2 here and a 2 here. So one of the 2's comes out. Okay? I shouldn't have put that so close to it. If you circle 2, if you find a pair, one of the numbers comes out. Well, let's go through another one. Okay, is there another pair? Yeah, I got another pair of 2's. So I'm going to circle those also. And what's the rule? If you circle 2, one comes out. Now, what number do I have left? No? What number's at the end of my root? 3, not 4. 4 branches off into 2 and 2. Be careful with that.
So times 3.
Well, now, what happens to the 3?
It's in the radical.
That 3 stays inside the radical. It doesn't have any pairs. For it to come outside the radical, it has to have pairs. Okay? You got to have a pair of something. Now, you can simplify this by just multiplying 2 times 2, and you get 4. And the 3 is hanging in there. Root. If there's no like 3 or 4 or 5, whatever, 5th root, 4th root, whatever, sitting right there, you're finding the square root. So we got that. So I'm going to rewrite that and make sure you don't get confused on that part.
Go ahead. Is it okay? We'll go ahead and drop it 2 and every problem you do.
Yes. Yes. I want you to. Okay. Well, now let's simplify the number first. We've already simplified it one time. So yeah, 9 times 5
3 times 3.
and 3 times 3.
And your 3's are your terms.
Good. Now to the variable. What times what gives me a to the 4th?
1.
Mm-mm.
8. Squared. 5b.
So 5 b's, absolutely. B times B times B times B
It's just going to be itself.
gives you B to the 5th. What about C to the 6th?
6.
Yeah, 6 of those C's.
It's the same thing.
Okay? So factor the variables completely out. So now we have factored the 45, we factored out the A to the 4th, the B to the 5th, the C to the 6th. So we factored everything out. Always do that first. Okay? Now, what's the rule when we're finding the square root? What are we looking for? Yeah, we're looking for a pair, 2 numbers. Okay, we're looking for a pair of something. So right off the bat, we got a pair of 3's.
3 goes in 6.
So one of the 3 comes out.
So it's C. C to the 6.
So one of the three comes out. Now what about the 5? I don't have another 5, so that's going to stay inside. Okay? So that's hanging out inside. So we've simplified the 45. That's hanging out inside. Now, for the variables. Let's talk about the A's first. Well, I have one A and I have two A's. So what's the rule? If you have a pair of something, one comes out. So one of those A's comes out. Let's keep going. I have an A and an A. So I have another pair of A's. So one of those comes out. Okay? Do I have any more A's left? No. No more. We're done. Now for the B's.
There's 3 pairs, and then on the other one, there's 4.
Well, for the B's.
Are we gonna do another one like that?
Yes. So there's really 2 pairs of B's, right? So we got a B and a B, and a B and a B. So how many comes out? Just 2.
On the next one, there's 3 pairs.
Now, do I have any more B's left? Do I?
Yeah, you got 1.
I have one more that I don't have. There's no other pairs of B's left. So what do you think happens with this B? It stays inside the radical. Okay? There's no other B's left besides this one, so that goes back inside. It's not allowed to leave yet. Okay? Let's talk about those C's. So I got one of those C's comes out. 1, 2. Another one comes out. And 1, 2. Another one comes out. So I got 3 C's that come out. Running out of room right here, but it's okay. Oof. Okay, now have we circled and gone through all of our numbers and all of our variables? Yeah. So last thing you have to do is combine everything. Okay? What does A times A give you? A squared. The 3 is going to stay down.
It's not set 8 times 8.
What about the B's? What am I going to get there? What about my B's? B squared. What about my C's? C to the 3rd. I got 3 C's right there. Last thing, I got a 5 and a B inside my radical. I'll leave it in there. And you're done.